The lights of the Shanghai skyline glittered below us, a carpet of diamonds just for me and Julian. Or so I thought. Our engagement party was perfect, held on the rooftop bar of Julian's newest skyscraper. Friends, family, and business partners clinked champagne glasses. My heart felt too big for my chest. Then, my sister, Sarah, walked to the microphone. "I want to congratulate my beautiful sister, Claire," she said. Her smile was a thin, red line. It looked like a cut. "Claire, I love you. And Julian, I love you too." I smiled, raising my glass, but a cold feeling started in my stomach. "I love you so much," Sarah continued, her voice too sweet, "that I think you deserve to know who you're really marrying." I started to stand up, confused. "Sarah, what are you doing?" But she had already pulled a cable from her phone and plugged it into the giant projector screen. My smile froze. The music cut off. The screen lit up. It wasn't a slideshow of us as children. It was a video. A grainy, awful video from 10 years ago. I was 20 years old, in a dark, dirty room, my face stained with tears. A large, sinister-looking man shoved a thick stack of cash into my hands. I was sobbing, but I took it. The clip was only 15 seconds long. It looked like the wisest thing in the world. The entire party, all of Julian's high society contacts, stared in dead silence. I felt my champagne glass slip. It shattered on the marble floor, the sound echoing the crack in my life. I turned to Julian. His face was pale, his eyes wide with a coldness I had never seen. "Claire, what is this? If you've ever been betrayed by the one person who should have protected you, you know what this felt like. Share this if you believe family should have your back." "It's not. I can explain," I stammered, my voice a useless whisper. The words wouldn't come out. How could they? Sarah just shook her head, her face a mask of fake sadness. "Claire, please," she said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Stop lying. It's okay. We all know." A low murmur started, like a hive of angry bees. I saw Julian's mother put her hand to her chest, her eyes glaring at me with pure disgust. Julian wouldn't look at me. He just clenched his jaw, turned his back on me, and strode toward the elevator. His parents followed him, not even giving me a second glance. The party was over. I was left standing alone, 1,000 eyes piercing me, the broken glass at my feet. The humiliation burned so hot I thought I would faint. Sarah, my own sister, walked over and put her arms around me, a twisted act of consolation. She pulled me close and whispered directly into my ear, "You should have never tried to have a life better than mine." I shoved her off me and ran. I fled the party, the laughter and whispers chasing me all the way to the street. I rushed back to the lavish apartment Julian and I shared. It was dark, empty. He was gone. But on the polished marble of the kitchen island, he had left one thing behind. His diamond engagement ring, sitting alone under a single spotlight. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely unlock my phone. I called Julian. Straight to voicemail. I called again. Voicemail. A third time. The call didn't even connect. He had blocked my number. My knees gave out, and I slid to the floor, my back against the cold kitchen cabinets. The ring glittered on the counter, mocking me. I had to know why. Why would Sarah do this? I called her. She picked up on the first ring, her voice sickeningly calm. "Hello, Claire." "Why?" I screamed, the sound tearing out of my throat. "You ruined my life. Why?" There was a long pause. I heard her take a slow sip of something. "He deserved to know the filth you come from," she said, her voice flat. "Did you think you could just erase what happened back home? Did you think you could just forget? Did you think Evan would just disappear?" My blood turned to ice. Evan, my first boyfriend. A troubled, intense artist from my university days. I hadn't heard his name in 10 years. A horrifying realization washed over me. Sarah didn't just stumble across that video. She had been holding on to it. She had kept this poison in her pocket for a decade, just waiting for the perfect, most painful moment to strike and destroy my entire world. She had been waiting for me to be this happy, just so she could be the one to take it all away. My mind was racing. Evan. The video. The man. It didn't make sense. Before I could fall deeper into the panic, My phone buzzed with a new text message. It was from an untraceable, blocked number. My fingers trembled as I opened it. It contained only 8 words. Did you think that debt was paid? I gasped, dropping the phone. The debt? Of course. It all came crashing back. The video wasn't what it looked like. The man wasn't a sugar daddy, he was a loan shark. And the money wasn't for me. I looked at my hands, remembering the feel of those cost bills. It was for Sarah. 10 years ago, Sarah had developed a severe gambling addiction. She had fallen in with a bad crowd and owed an impossible amount of money to dangerous people. They had threatened her. They had threatened our parents. I was 20 years old and terrified, but I was the only one she could turn to. I was the one who met the loan shark. I was the one who took the money to pay off her debts, to save our family. I had taken the fall for her, shielding her from the consequences. And this was how she repaid me. She had saved the video of my sacrifice and twisted it into a weapon to ruin me. The betrayal was so deep it left me breathless. Gasping for air, I scrambled to my feet. I needed proof. Julian wouldn't listen to me. Not now. I needed cold, hard facts. I ran to my laptop, my mind latching onto one idea, the old bank account. The one I had used all those years ago. I still had the login. I had used it to make the slow, painful repayments to the loan shark over 2 years. The transfer trail would prove the money went from me to him, and other statements would show the original deposits into Sarah's account. It would prove she was the one with the debt. I typed in the bank's website. I put in my old login information. Password incorrect. That was strange. I tried again, carefully. Password incorrect. I clicked the forgot password link. I entered my email address. A red box appeared. No account is associated with this email. My heart hammered against my ribs. No. I checked my email, searching for any old bank notifications. I found one. From 2 days ago. Your account password has been successfully reset. My blood ran cold. I scrolled down. The email showed the IP address used to reset the password. It was an address based right here in Shanghai. Sarah. She had been planning this for days, maybe weeks. She didn't just plan to show the video. She had methodically logged into my old accounts and erased every single piece of evidence that proved my innocence, leaving me to take the full force of the blow. My phone rang, and my heart leaped. Julian. I snatched it up. Julian. Oh, thank God. Let me explain. Don't, he said. His voice was not the voice of the man I loved. It was the voice of a CEO. It was ice. I'm in Suzhou with my family, he said flatly. They are disappointed. They are demanding I end this. Julian, it was my sister. She's lying. The money wasn't for me. It was for. My family is running a full background check on you as we speak. Claire, he cut me off. They will find the truth. I can prove it. I cried, even as I knew my proof was gone. Just give me time. There was a cold pause. You have 24 hours, he said. One day. Prove that the video is not what it looks like. Send me undeniable proof. If I don't hear from you by this time tomorrow, we are done. And my lawyers will be in touch to handle the apartment and the separation of our assets. Julian, please, don't do this. The call ended. He had hung up on me. The pressure was suffocating. 24 hours. I had no proof. I had no allies. And the only other person in the world who knew the complete truth was the monster who had just buried me alive. I was completely and utterly alone. I paced the empty apartment, my mind spinning. Who else knew? Who else knew what Sarah was really like back then? The answer hit me. Leo, Sarah's ex-boyfriend from that time. He had been around during her gambling phase. He had always been suspicious of her, which is why she dumped him. I searched his name online. He had also moved to Shanghai, working as an analyst for a finance firm. It was a long shot, but it was the only shot I had. I took a taxi to his office, my stomach in knots. I must have looked insane, my mascara smudged, my evening dress wrinkled. I found him just as he was leaving. Leo. He turned, his eyes widening in recognition. Claire, what on earth? I told him everything. The engagement, the party, the video, the debt. He listened intently, his expression growing grim. "I'm not surprised," he said, shaking his head. "I always knew she was capable of something like this. But she's smart, Claire. She covers her tracks." "I know," I said, my voice breaking. "She erased my bank records." He frowned, thinking. Then his eyes lit up. "Wait. She was always paranoid. She kept everything. She had this old external hard drive. She called it her digital diary. It had everything on it. Emails, statements, photos. She used to hide it in her old apartment, the one she still keeps downtown for storage. She said she'd never get rid of it." Hope, small and sharp, pierced through my panic. "Can we get in?" Leo pulled a single key from his ring. "She never asked for this back." Leo drove us to Sarah's old apartment building. "She's on the 12th floor," he said, his face tense. "If she's there." "She's probably out celebrating," I said bitterly. The thought of her sipping champagne while my life was in flames made me sick. Leo used the key, and we slipped into the quiet, sterile building. We took the stairs, my heart pounding with every step. Her apartment was dark. Leo unlocked the door, and we crept inside. It was musty, filled with boxes and furniture covered in white sheets. It looked like a tomb. "Where would she hide it?" I whispered. "Look for things from university," Leo said. We started tearing through boxes. Old textbooks, dusty photo albums, clothes I hadn't seen in a decade. Nothing. "It has to be here," I muttered, my desperation growing. I moved to an old wooden desk. I pulled out the drawers. Nothing but dried-up pens and old notebooks. Frustrated, I slammed the bottom drawer shut. I heard a faint click. I opened it again. It seemed shallow. I felt along the bottom. A false panel. My fingers fumbled with it, and it popped open. Inside the hidden compartment was the external hard drive. "I found it," I whispered, pulling it out. But my fingers brushed against something else. A small, dark velvet bag. I opened it. Inside was a heavy, silver signet ring. I knew this ring. It was Evan's. The one he never took off. Why did she have it? We raced back to Leo's apartment, my mind reeling. Evan's ring. Sarah. It didn't make sense. We plugged the hard drive into his computer. It whirred to life. It was a digital ghost of my sister's life, and it was all there. A folder labeled Finances. Inside, scanned copies of her old bank statements, showing the huge, erratic withdrawals. Emails from online gambling sites. And then, the smoking gun, a saved email chain from me 10 years ago, spelling it all out. "Sarah, I'm getting the money. You have to stop. This is the last time. I'm paying them off, and you are getting help." It was proof. I felt a rush of relief so strong my legs went weak. But then I saw the other folder. The one I didn't recognize. The one labeled Evan. My hand trembled as I clicked it. It was full of screenshots. Messages. Dozens of them. They were from 10 years ago, from an account pretending to be me, sent to Evan. "I'm seeing someone else. He has more money than you. Stop calling me. I'm done." I remember that time. Evan had suddenly turned cold, accusing me of cheating. He had become cruel, hateful. He broke my heart. I thought he was unstable. But it was her. It was Sarah. She had fabricated the entire thing. She had broken us up, poisoning his mind against me, all while she pretended to be my supportive sister, comforting me as I cried. The video wasn't just an attack on my present. It was the final, twisted act in a decade-long campaign of sabotage. I felt dizzy. My whole past was a lie. "Claire, are you okay?" Leo asked, his voice gentle. She did it all," I whispered, pointing to the screen. "She ruined everything. Even him." This is more than I thought," he said. "I know I have proof about the debt," I said, my voice hardening. The shock was turning into a cold, hard rage. "But I still need to explain the man in the video. Julian's family will check." I went back to the hard drive, to the folder with my emails. I found the loan shark's name from our correspondence, Marcus Moore. I typed his name into a search engine. I expected to find a police record or nothing at all. But he popped up immediately. A glossy, professional website. Marcus Moore, CEO of Apex Private Investments. He wasn't a back-alley thug anymore. He was here, in Shanghai. He had cleaned up his image, rebranding himself as a legitimate businessman. I clicked on his clients and partners page. My heart stopped. My blood turned to ice. There, at the top of the list, was the logo for Julian's company. He was one of Julian's new, high-value clients. I stayed at the screen, the pieces clicking into place with horrifying clarity. This wasn't just Sarah being jealous. This was something much, much bigger. Here's Julian's client, I said, my voice barely a whisper. Leo looked at the screen and swore. This is a setup, Claire. A massive one. My mind was suddenly sharp. All the fog of panic and betrayal cleared, replaced by a cold, terrible focus. She didn't just want to ruin me, I said, thinking aloud. She wanted to replace me. The plan was so clear now. Sarah shows the video. I look like a humiliating liability, a woman with a dark, transactional past. I'm out. Then, Sarah, the brave sister who exposed the truth for Julian's own good, is there to comfort him. And Marcus Moore, the loan shark from my past, he's now embedded in Julian's company. He has the video. He has permanent, unspoken leverage over Julian and his entire family. My sister wasn't just trying to destroy my happiness, she was trying to take it for herself and, in the process, hand Julian's company over to a criminal. I pulled out my phone. My 24-hour deadline was ticking. I had the proof, but I couldn't just email it. I had to show him the whole trap. I sent Julian one text. I have the proof, but you are in danger. The man from the video is your new client, Marcus Moore. Meet me. This time, Julian's reply was instant. Where? I told him a public park, halfway between us. Come alone, I wrote, but I knew he wouldn't. I got there first. The hard drive clutched in my hand like a lifeline. Leo wished me luck and stayed back, a silent guardian. Julian arrived 10 minutes later. He wasn't alone. A tall, severe-looking man in a sharp suit was with him. His family lawyer. You said you had proof, Julian said. He looked terrible. He hadn't slept. You said you had 24 hours, the lawyer said, his voice cold. I didn't say a word. I just pulled out my laptop, plugged in the hard drive, and turned it toward them. I showed them everything. The folder with Sarah's gambling debts. The emails proving I was the one who paid it. The folder with Evan's name. The screenshots of Sarah's fake messages, proving her decade-long campaign. I watched Julian's face. It crumbled. He went from anger to confusion, and then to a deep, gut-wrenching shame. Oh, God, Claire, he whispered. What has she done? You haven't seen the worst part, I said, my voice hard. I opened the browser and went to Marcus Moore's website. I pointed to Julian's company logo. Julian and the lawyer stared. She's not just a liar, I said, my voice shaking with rage. She's working with him. She handed you over to a shark. The lawyer, Mr. Chen, was no longer looking at me with suspicion. His face was a mask of cold fury. Julian, he said, this is a coordinated corporate attack. He pulled out his phone and made a call. I need eyes on Sarah, he said into the phone. Now. Julian just stared at me, his eyes filled with a pain that matched my own. Claire, I didn't. You didn't believe me, I said, cutting him off. You left me. You put your ring on the counter and you left me. I was wrong, he said, his voice raw. Claire, I was so wrong. Please. Before I could answer, Mr. Chen's phone buzzed. A new message. He looked at it, his eyes narrowing. He showed the phone to Julian. My heart hammered. It was a photo, taken seconds ago by a private investigator. It was Sarah, sitting at an outdoor cafe, not far from here. She was not alone. She was smiling, deep in conversation with a man. She was holding his hand across the table. It wasn't Marcus Moore. It was Evan. He was here. He was in Shanghai. And he was holding my sister's hand. The sister who had destroyed his relationship with me, using that betrayal to, what? Seduce him. It was sicker than I could have ever imagined. I stared at the picture, my brain trying to process the image. Evan and Sarah. holding hands. I don't understand, I whispered. She's the one who betrayed him. Why would he be working with her? Unless he never knew, Julian said, his mind clearly working on the business angle. He pulled out his own phone and made a call to his assistant. That art tech company that's been trying to get a meeting for months. The one from, yes, that's it. What's the CEO's name? He paused. Evan Holloway. Get me everything you have on him. Now. He hung up, his face grim. The picture was now horribly, sickeningly clear. This wasn't just Sarah's plan. This was a three-pronged conspiracy. Sarah, Moore, and Evan. They were all in it together. Sarah gets rid of me and gets her hands on Julian's wealth and status. Evan, using Sarah as his in, finally gets the lucrative business deal with Julian's firm that he's been chasing for months. And Marcus Moore. He gets his corporate leverage, a dirty hook into one of Shanghai's biggest companies. They had all formed an alliance, and I was the single person they had to remove to make it all happen. My past and my present had just collided in the worst possible way, all orchestrated by my own sister. Just then, as if summoned by the devil himself, my phone rang. It was Sarah. My hands were shaking, but Julian nodded, his eyes hard. I answered. Claire, she sniffed, her voice thick with fake tears. Oh, Claire, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just so jealous. You have everything, and I have nothing. Please, can you forgive me? Please, let's not tell Julian. Let's just go back to how we were. We're sisters. It was a pathetic, disgusting attempt to gauge how much I knew. She was fishing. I looked at Julian and Mr. Chen, and a cold calm settled over me. I played along. You're right, Sarah, I said, making my voice tremble. You're right. We're family. We can fix this. Oh, thank you, Claire, she said, her relief obvious. Let's meet, I said. Let's meet at our parents' house in town tomorrow. They're out of the city, so it will be private. Just us. 7 o'clock. We'll sort it out. Yes, she said, eagerly. Yes, just us. We hung up. I immediately turned to Julian. The trap is set. Be at my parents' house at 7 p.m. tomorrow. And bring everyone. The next evening, I arrived at my parents' house at 6:45 p.m. The house was dark, just as I'd planned. I sat in the living room, waiting. At 7 p.m. on the dot, Sarah walked in, not even bothering to knock. Clay, she called out, her voice still holding that fake, fragile tone. I turned on a lamp. Hello, Sarah. She rushed over, her face a mask of concern. Oh, Claire, I've been so worried. Did you talk to Julian? Did you fix it? I just stayed at her. I know everything, Sarah. Her face froze. The fake tears, the concern, it all vanished, replaced by a cold, familiar sneer. What are you talking about? I know about the hard drive. I know about the gambling debt. I know you broke up me and Evan. And I know about your deal with him and Marcus Moore. Her facade dropped completely. She let out a short, ugly laugh. So what? So what if you know? You have no proof. I deleted those bank records. It's my word against yours. And right now, you're the prostitute from the video. Who do you think Julian is really going to believe in the end? She took a step closer, her eyes glittering with a decade of hate. You lost, Claire. Just accept it. She's wrong about that, a voice said from the shadows. Sarah whipped around. My mother stepped out from the dining room, my father right behind her. Their faces were pale, their eyes filled with a crushing disappointment. Mom, Dad. Sarah stammered. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be. We found the letters you've been hiding from us, Sarah, my father said, his voice heavy. He was holding a small stack of them. The ones from your university in Paris. The ones explaining you were expelled for fraud. You were never transferred, were you? You were kicked out. My parents had suspected for years, but my defense of Sarah had always covered her tracks. Now, seeing the proof, they knew. Sarah was cornered, her eyes darting between us. She let out a scoff, trying to regain her footing. It doesn't matter, she hissed. This is a family matter. You'll never tell Julian. You wouldn't risk this family's honor by airing our dirty laundry. You'll cover for me. You always do. She looked at me, her face triumphant, convinced she was still untouchable. He'll never know. They don't have to tell me, Julian said. The front door swung open. Julian walked in, his face set like stone. Beside him was his lawyer, Mr. Chen. And flanked by two of Julian's tall, imposing security guards was a pale, sweating Marcus Moore. Sarah's face turned white. It was the most satisfying thing I had ever seen. What is this? She whispered, backing away. You can't. It's over, Sarah, Julian said. Marcus Moore, caught between Julian's powerful family and a future in a Chinese prison, had clearly decided to save himself. He looked at Sarah with pure contempt. You said this would be clean, he spat at her. You, Sarah whispered, her whole body shaking. You were supposed to be. He was supposed to be loyal to a conspiracy. Mr. Chen asked, stepping forward. Mr. Ma has already given us a full statement in exchange for our cooperation. Sarah looked around, cornered. She was a trapped animal, and she was about to lash out. This is a lie. He's lying. Julian, she's trying to frame me. I've got the bank records, Sarah, Julian said, his voice cutting through her panic. The real ones. The ones from Mr. Ma's offshore accounts, showing the repayments from Claire's account 10 years ago. It's all there. Marcus Moore, now eager to please, stepped forward. She contacted me a month ago, he said, pointing a shaking finger at Sarah. I didn't even remember the video. She did. She said she had an introduction for me. A way into one of the biggest firms in Shanghai. All I had to do was revive the old leverage. Make her sister look bad. She said it was a simple family squabble. She said the fiancé would dump the girl, and she'd be there to pick up the pieces. And I'd have my in. He's lying. Sarah shrieked, her voice cracking. Julian, he's the criminal. You can't believe him. He's not the only one, Sarah, I said. My parents looked devastated. My mother was openly weeping. How could you, Sarah, she whispered. How could you do this to your own sister? Because she deserves it. Sarah screamed, her mask of sanity completely gone. She has always had everything. You're all liars. Sarah shrieked, her eyes wild. She backed against the wall. This is all a setup. Evan. He'll tell you. He'll tell you the truth. He loves me. Right on cue, the front door opened again. It was Evan. He looked pale, tired, and deeply uncomfortable. He saw the room full of people. Me, Julian, my parents, the lawyers, more, and he froze. Evan! Sarah cried, a desperate hope in her voice. Thank God. Tell them. Tell them how much you love me. Tell them this is all a lie. Evan looked at me, and I saw a flash of the man I used to know, a flicker of shame, of regret. Then he looked at Sarah, his face hardening. I'm sorry, Claire, he said softly. Then he turned to Sarah. But the deal Julian's firm offered me is too good to pass up. I can't be involved in this. He looked at Julian. She's lying. I barely know her. She's been harassing me for months, trying to get an introduction. I was just placating her. This final, pathetic betrayal was the one that broke Sarah. Evan, the man she had stolen, the man she had built this entire conspiracy with, had just cut her off and thrown her to the wolves to save his own career. She stared at him, her mouth open, a silent scream on her lips. The silence in the room was heavy. Then Sarah let out a sound. It wasn't a cry. It was a low, animalistic wail of pure rage. You? She screamed at Evan. You lying. Then she turned on me, her face purple with fury. And you? You think you've won? You think you're so perfect? She completely unraveled. The confession poured out of her in a torrent of jealousy and venom. I hated you, she sobbed, sinking to the floor. I always hated you. You were always the pretty one, the smart one, the lucky one. Mom and Dad always loved you more. Evan loved you. And then you came here, and you got him, she spat, pointing at Julian. This perfect life. This perfect man. While I had nothing. You stole everything from me. It was the full, horrifying, pathetic truth. She confessed to the gambling, to the expulsion, to faking the messages to Evan, to saving the video, to the entire conspiracy. She left nothing out. My parents looked on, heartbroken. My mother was holding my father, both of them weeping for the daughter they had lost. Mr. Chen stood by the door, his phone on the table, a small red light indicating it was quietly recording every last word. The room fell silent after her confession. Sarah was just a crumpled heap on the floor, all her hate and anger spent. She looked up at me, her eyes red, expecting, what? Was I supposed to forgive her? Yell at her? I felt nothing. Just a cold, quiet emptiness. The sister I loved had been a ghost for a decade. This was just the ugly reality. This was my revenge. Not screaming, not hitting, just consequences. I walked over to my parents, who were clutching each other. You need to handle this, I said quietly, but with a steel in my voice I didn't know I had. She is your daughter. She is sick, but she is not my sister. Not anymore. I turned to Marcus Moore. You will sever all contracts with Julian's company, effective immediately. And you will never, ever contact me or my family again. He nodded quickly, eager to escape. I turned to Evan, who was lingering by the door. Get out, I said. He flinched and disappeared. Finally, I turned to Julian. He was looking at me with so much love, so much relief. He started to walk toward me, his arms open. Claire, we did it. It's over. I put my hand up. I'm leaving, I said. Julian froze. What? Leaving? What do you mean? But I have you back. We won. I shook my head, the last piece of my broken heart clicking into place. You didn't have me back, Julian. I got me back. We didn't win. I did. You threw me away. Claire, no. I was scared. I was in shock. You were a coward, I said, the words sharp but true. You believed the worst of me in less than 30 seconds. You listened to my sister, who you've always said was jealous. You didn't stand by me. You didn't protect me. You didn't even ask me. You left me alone to face the worst night of my life with a 24-hour ultimatum. I didn't prove my innocence for you, Julian. I did it for me. I held up my left hand, showing it was bare. I will not marry a man who does not trust me. I will not spend the rest of my life with a partner whose first instinct, when things get hard, is to run and save his family's reputation. I deserve better than that. His face crumpled. He finally understood. I had not just been fighting my sister, I had been fighting him, too. And he had lost. I walked out of that house and didn't look back. I took a taxi to a hotel, turned off my phone, and slept for 12 hours. When I woke up, I felt light. I felt free. The next day, I turned on my phone. There were dozens of texts from Julian, but I ignored them. There was one from my mother. I called her. She told me the fallout. My parents had arranged for Sarah to be sent to an inpatient mental health facility back home. She needed serious, long-term help. Julian's deal for Evan, of course, had been a fake. Mr. Chen had served him with papers for conspiracy to commit fraud. His little art tech company was finished. Marcus Moore's firm was under a full, invasive audit by Julian's legal team, and Mr. Chen had made an anonymous tip to the financial authorities. He was ruined. The villains were all dealt with, not with cruel, over-the-top revenge, but with the firm, quiet, and unavoidable consequences of their own actions. My parents were heartbroken, but for the first time, they were seeing the truth. As for me, I just felt quiet. A week later, I was packing up my last few boxes from Julian's apartment. He was there, watching me. He didn't try to stop me, didn't try to touch me. He just looked quiet and full of remorse. You were right, he said, his voice low. I failed you. In every single way a man can fail a woman, I failed you. I don't have an excuse. I was just weak, and I will regret it for the rest of my life. But I love you. He pulled the engagement ring from his pocket, the one he had left on the counter. I'm not asking you to marry me, he said quickly, seeing me tense up. I know I don't have that right. Not today. Maybe not ever. I'm asking if I can earn the right to one day ask you again. I want to start over. From scratch. No lawyers, no family. Just me, proving that I can be the man you thought I was. I looked at the ring, glittering in the box. I looked at his face, so full of hope and pain. I took the box from him, closed the lid, and placed it on the empty counter. Ask me again in a year, Julian, I said. Come find me in 1 year, and we'll see if you're the man you want to be, and if I'm still the woman who wants you. I picked up my last box and walked to the door. I looked back at him one last time, then I walked out. I wasn't his fiancé. I wasn't a victim. I was just Claire, and for the first time in my life, that was more than enough. If you've ever had to choose yourself, even when it was the hardest choice, you know this feeling. Subscribe for more stories about finding your own strength.